Right. So at the beginning of the live talk, I, like a numpty, forgot to press record. So I'm going to talk about the intro and the qualities of the magical qualities of New Year. So I think New Year, whether it's at different times and all that, every culture around the world celebrates it, and it's always that thought of, letting go and mourning the old year and letting it go, along with all the sorrows or any of the hardships that we may have faced that year, and welcoming the newborn year, and setting goals and encouraging success, prosperous new year. Now, the whole period of New Year is a very special time. It is what us animists and folk magic practitioners take advantage when it comes to these liminal times and spaces. So, for example, liminal times of midnight, known as the witching hour. Things are done definitely at that time. As night turns into a new day at midnight. That liminal point, that time where things are betwixt, one yet to gone and one yet to come. That all things can be birthed and made into existence. And then you have places of liminality. Other times it is like twilight, dusk, dawn, the setting sun and its last light, or the rising sun of its first light, that in-betweenness that we can access different spiritual power. And then we have places of liminality, as we know, as like crossroads, one way or another. I think Smashing Pumpkins, one way or another. Anyway, crossroads, bridges, doorways, thresholds, places of physical liminality, and we have places of liminality within our own homes, our doorways, if you've got an open fire or fireplace, our hearth, our windows. These are places of in-betweenness or betwixt our liminality, and that's why you see traditions of, like New Year's, involving opening doors and windows, closing doors and windows regarding the old year and welcoming the new year. And so you've got that with New Year. It's a big liminal time, that it's that tweenness of the old year going and the new year yet to become, and yet it all begins at midnight, the witching hour. So it's a double, really special double liminality, time of liminality, and therefore it's no wonder that our ancestors, and we still do, practice these customs around New Year. It's that idea of letting the new year go and having goals and setting into motion what we want for the new year. And I guess in some cases, setting New Year revolutions, things that you wish to sacrifice or to rid yourself of. Maybe like, I'm going to quit smoking in the new year, or I'm not going to spend so much in the new year, or I'm going to lose weight in the new year. They are setting goals and things that we sacrifice to better ourselves, to have a better new year. So, and with that, these actions are magical actions through our customs and traditions still practiced today. In Scotland, we call it Hogmanay, and it comes from the French word Hogmanay, which means a gala day, a day of celebration, basically. And it's no wonder because Scotland, up until the Union of Great Britain, or the UK, had a long association with France, known as the Old Alliance. So we do get a lot of the words and traditions from the French. But yeah, it's Scotland's probably the most number one place that people sort of all around the world come to celebrate New Year, Hogmanay, as we call it. And there's fire torch processions, a fire and performances of telling of old and new battling get together, even themes of stuff like the oak and the holly king, one precedes the other, and one's probably old, one's new, youthful, one's an old man. It's these performances around this time. And Scotland has a rich heritage when it comes to storytelling. So, in all ado, I will carry on and start the PowerPoint and explain these traditions of old and of new, which I do myself to secure my own look. Make sure my look is always bountiful, and mostly that I don't get bad luck, but then also enhancing goals and making sure I'm prosperous in the new year. So in order, we'll go on to the PowerPoint. Silly me. So this is for the people that are listening back to this recording. I am full of New Year blues, or hectic moment, so I forgot to press record. However, I will do a little snippet of what I said previously and add it onto the video when it's shared. But yeah, we're going to go on to the PowerPoint now, and then I'll run through sort of traditions within Scotland of New Year's and things that I do that you can kind of adapt and use yourself. So let me see, share screen. Let's see. Right, first of all, can everyone see the screen okay?
Yes, thanks, Ash.
Oh, cool, thank you. So we'll start from the beginning. So yeah, first of all, welcome to this talk on First Foot In, and I've certainly sort of covered that about its magical insight and how we as folk and communities view the new year as a really important time of year, both magical and conventional. So and again, what I said, I forgot to press recorded at the beginning as the intro, but I will do another intro and what I spoke previously and add it onto this. So do apologize. So yeah, so the first of all, which I do personally, and this is certainly something that I learned from my Irish granny, is clean your house. And that's not being offensive. It's preparing your home for the new year. So I don't know if everyone's familiar with the film Practical Magic, and I just couldn't help to put this picture, which towards the end, where the woman's like, "Yes, let's clean house," and she sweeps all the dust away. So I couldn't help to put that because it's one of my favorite films. But yeah, so with my granny, so she would clean top to bottom, like not just a light brushing like she normally do. And well, she's a very clean person anyway in general, but this is like she would spend a whole day cleaning. And it's the idea, what she would say is, you do not want to carry old dirt into the new year. the new year, or never sweep a old dirt, never sweep a broom with old dirt, you know. So essentially, and it's all about preparing your home for the new year. So, and ensuring that your household is always in order and it has that quality to it, that everything will run smoothly, everything will be clean, everything will be a happy whole household for the coming new year. So other things, so what I do is I use what's called a seining wash, or a carpet powder. Now, if anyone's not familiar with the word seining, it's a Scottish term meaning to bless, to consecrate, to remove, to charm, to cleanse. It really is a word that means many things, but in general, it means to charm something. So I use a sailing floor wash and carpet powder made from herbals, which I will in the next go into sort of the formulas that I use. Making smoking seining bundles. Now, sort of like smudge sticks, but I don't like to call it that, but making them out of sort of dried, traditionally juniper is used in Scotland, and pine or cedar. In fact, there is a traditional, I think within Skye, it was recorded in the 19th century, one New Year tradition, or certainly if they needed a big cleanse of the house, they would close all the doors and windows, everyone would stay in the house, and they would smoke the house full with juniper, to the point where it was quite overbearing. And the whole idea is that you stay as long as you can, that you are ridding yourself and the home of any negative influences. Then the windows and doors are quickly open, everyone rushes out and gets a deep breath, and then and they don't return to the house until the smoke is completely removed, shift out of the house, and there's clean air back into it. So that was a really intense New Year's / in general big cleansing of the home in the Hebrides. I think it was recorded within the 19th century in Skye and Harris. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend you do that, because your lungs and sensitive fire alarms nowadays wouldn't be able to cope with it. So another thing, so once I've cleaned the house and I've done my magical washes and I've mopped my floors, I've cleaned my carpets, which I previously put down a herbal powder. Again, I will go with the formula in the next bit. I may want to then secure things for the new year, something new to sort of bring in that positive energy and to revitalize the spirit of the home. I'm very much an animist in the fact that everything is living, everything has a personality, a name, and a spirit. So yeah, certainly this house and the doors and all that, they have a personality of their own. And so we just need to do our wee bits to sort of revitalize the spirit of the house, the actual spirit of the house, and also the spirits that reside in the house, whether they be like past tenants or householders, or fae folk, the Sheen the Wood, the fairy folk. But yeah, and the ways I do that is I like to pick up conkers. I like to gather stones from my sacred locations, or not sacred locations, locations of magical quality, and put them in the corners of rooms. And when I say that, I mean stones that may be from a south running river, which is traditional in Scotland. It's said to be a south running river meets the sun. Maybe stones taken from a holy well, local holy well or stream, maybe a river that another one traditional within Scottish folk magic is a river that the living and the dead have crossed. So basically, a water source by a church with a bridge, and that's the idea, is that people have gone to congregation to church, but also a coffin has carried past it at some point. So the waters, the living and the dead. That's very sacred and used a lot in Scottish folk magic. And you can use that also, the water to sprinkle and bless your walls and your doors and wash down, or add it into your actual floor wash itself. You also want to really renew your protection charms. Now, I think when you have protection charms anyway, they should maybe like at least like 4 times in the year, like with the seasons, be renewed and just re-energized, bring that power. So wash them down and breathe life back into them, and reassure them of of what their job is and what they're meant to do. Another thing, if you do, you don't have to, but I have a witch bottle. Get them heated up. So there's a lot of zealous people out there, and they might want to give you the evil eye, and wish you some really nasty things in the new year. They don't want you to succeed. Sometimes it's about jealousy, so they don't want you to succeed in life. So what I do is I heat up my witch bottle in a pan, in a pot of boiling water to the point where I'm satisfied. Then I pop it back into where it's hidden. So that's again securing your own luck, you're securing your psychic defense and counteraction magic, because again, as we want to go on, as we want to start as we go on into the new year, and that's what it's all about. New Year's Eve is starting as we want to go on in the new year. And then stuff like washing down your liminal spaces in your home specifically. So your doors, your windows, your fireplace, if you have an open fire. These are your liminal spaces within your home, and that's where things can creep in between, spirits, bad energy, things that you may pick up. Your doorsteps, get them washed and saned and blessed, and then re-energize with some kind of association with prosperity, mainly. Like, so place a few coins on your doorstep or your windows, to secure that you're going to be bountiful and prosperous in the new year. So we'll go on to like the formula that I use for seining wash, or a powder formula. So here is what I've got. So it's 2 tablespoons of dry crushed pine needles, or you can just cut them finely. 3 tablespoons of dried cedar, 5 tablespoons of juniper berries. They're dried. You can actually buy them in your local grocery or supermarket. 5 tablespoons of crushed dried heather. That can be the flowers and the foliage, the leaf foliage as well. 3 tablespoons of dried lavender flowers, and a piece of silver. Now, these are all associated with cleansing and prosperity. Like we just mentioned recently, previously, that juniper is traditionally used, and cedar and pine within Scottish folk magic in cleansing and seining the house. And then heather and lavender, you saw your prosperous flowers, lucky heather, better if it's white heather as well. And lavender, they bring in sort of happiness and abundance, and are associated with prosperity and good fortune. And a piece of silver, so another thing that, in blessing waters, it's which are known in Scotland as forspoken waters. So you're speaking upon the water, you're blessing it, or silvered water. But often, the some point of silver is dropped or stirred in the water to make it holy, to make it magical, and that is quite a common theme within Scotland, in Scottish folk magic. So for example, if you're doing your floor wash, you want your base spirit to be, well, I like to use distilled witch hazel. You can use like a very cheap vodka or whatever, a spirit that which is not, it doesn't have no flavor in all, so you won't want to use, I guess you can use a whiskey, and that's quite good actually. It's known as Yiscabera, which is waters of life in Gaelic. um but I like, my favorite is distilled witch hazel, and I like it because it's a good stringent. So not only is it, got magical qualities of protection, witch hazel tree, but also I want it to lift the dirt up as well from my floors. Again, I'm very practical in my magical practice. I want it to be practical as well as magical. So what you want to do is, if you're doing a floor wash, you want to just finely crush or grind these herbals together, and then add a whole bottle of witch hazel to it, and you want it to seep. Drop your silver coin in there after you've done that, and just say sane, sane, sane at the end of it, and that will assure that you're enchanting it, you're charming it. And you want it to be distilled for about a week or so, or if you really want to speed up the process, which something you might want to do tomorrow or tonight, pop it into your witch hazel or spirit, and just put it into a pan of hot water and let it simmer for about half an hour, 40 minutes. Take it out, give it a good shake, and then if you can, every so often, just give it a shake. And then what you want to do then, once you're finished, is filter it out in some muslin cloth, and then you've got your nice little floor wash, and then you can fill your bucket up and just put about 2 tablespoons, maybe 3 tablespoons, to some hot water. Add a bit of lemon as well if you wish. That's really nice, just for the smell. But generally, these are really nice smelling herbs, as well as them being protective and prosperous. They're really nice, and it gives that real winter smell. Cedar, and that's why I put with cedar only 3 tablespoons, because it's a very strong smelling plant. And if you ever touch them, the smell of it's on your hands for ages, and just touching it, so the oil's very strong. So if you want to do a powder, so if you've got carpet, so you want to basically grind all your herbal mixture into a very fine kind of powder, as much as you can. And obviously you'll want to probably treble the amounts of here. So for example, if it's 3 tablespoons, it'll be 8 tablespoons of each, or whatever. So you want to treble the ingredients, because it's going to be a powder. And once you've done that, I would like to get a piece of silver, and I like to sort of stir it 3 times into the powder, saying sane, sane, sane. And another thing about saying things 3 times is that it's meant to be a level. So sane, sane, sane. And that's a little trick that I was taught. So and you want to do that, and then it's ready. So you just sprinkle it down on your good carpet, leave it there for about half an hour, and then just kind of vacuum up or sweep it from your carpet. And that will ensure that all that negative energy, that stagnant energy that is left in your carpet is all swept out. And what's left behind is nice, ready for prosperity and abundance. And that's what the lavender and the heather does. So yeah, that's definitely so we're, give yourself, if you can, give it a good, I would, like I said, not spring clean, but a Hogmanay clean. So we'll go on to, so what you want to do now, this is a tradition I came up many years ago. So my granny would never, she would never, before the year is out, have the same broom or the same dustpan and brush. And that's the same, because she said, never sweep your house with old dirt. Old dirt, new year, they don't get along. And that was her sort of thinking. So she would get a new broom or dustpan and brush. And as we all know, I guess with her, she wouldn't call herself a witch. She'd give me a good clout around the face if I said that. But she certainly did some magical stuff in her, Catholic, in her beliefs in Catholicism. But yeah, so your new broom is essentially there for you to bring in new energy, to sweep away negativity. So when I'm doing a broom, and it's probably, I'm not the only one here, if you're an animist or a magical practitioner, if I'm sweeping, like, I'm also concentrating on the negative energy that I'm sweeping. So it's not just the dirt I'm sweeping away, it's the negative energy. It's that argument you had with your friend or your daughter or your partner a couple of nights ago or whatever. Or in this case, think of the important negative events that happened in your home throughout the new year and concentrate on how you're sweeping that out, sort of thing. So yeah, so I do this thing when I get a new broom. It's dressing the broom, I call it. So you want to sort of prepare your broom and tell it what it needs to do, and prepare your broom to not only sweep away negativity, but you're going to, when you do sweep, you sweep success and abundance and good fortune in your home as you go. So what I do is you can turn, like we've done previously, we're talking about the seining that. So if you want to make an oil, same as you would with the powder, you can use it a kind of more chunky substance, but you'd have to brew it a little bit longer, let it seep for a little bit longer. But it's fine as you can, and use like kind of an extra olive oil, virgin olive oil or almond oil as its carrier. So yeah, I would probably let that seep for. This is something that you probably need to prepare for next year. I'd probably let that steep for a good 2 to 3 weeks with the oil. A month would be really good. So, but it's not unimportant. So if you wanted to use the floor wash to wash down the staff of the broom, that's just as fine. And what you want to do as well is, which I've not noted, so there's a tradition in folklore and folk practice that often you would see burn marks on beams and the half beam, and that's idea it's burnt with like a sacred flame. Mostly it was like a flame that they may have gotten from a sacred lit candle at church or a certain mass, and it's burnt. So the idea is that you're burning into the wood that magical quality, that holiness. So what I do is I pop to my local church, or I bless the candle myself, and I just lightly burn the broom in certain sections. Just be careful, you don't want to burn your house down. Just to give it that magical quality, just scorch it with power. Then basically, you know, we want to rub down, if you can, gold leaf or silver leaf. You get it from arts and crafts, and rub down your staff and your broom. Maybe sprinkle it a bit in your brushes, you know, to bring in that prosperity, that abundance, you know, that good fortune. So, and then so addressing the broom itself is filling the brush in between the brushes, like the picture. But here's one I pre-made. This one's our broom. And you know this picture you see on the PowerPoint was a broom of mine from many years ago, and they are really good brooms. They sweep the Bell straw brooms. They really sweep a lot because their thickness and their size, and it makes work a lot less. But as you can see here, my broom, it's full of like sort of good luck and prosperous herbs. You know, put some, you know, some notes in between the bushels, some coins, silver thread, you know, anything that's associated with prosperity, abundance, good fortune, good luck, because essentially that's what you want to sweep into your home for the new year. When you're sweeping, you're not getting rid, like I said, you're not getting rid of the negative energy, but you're sweeping in good luck, you know, sweeping the home with that energy of prosperity. So the ones that you can use as white heather, long associated with luck, especially once the traveling folk or gypsies. Lavender, which I misspelled, sorry, lavender. Must be my Scots come out in my spelling. And lavender again, was very prosperous. It's associated with happiness as well. Bay leaves are massively associated with good fortune. The Romans used to burn them on their altars to promote wealth and abundance. Rosemary again, we use rosemary as well again. Similar way in bay leaves, burn and for prosperity, abundance. Silver coins, you know, when I was young and still I sat at the museum, you know, we silver sixpences, and they were given to you as gifts for New Year or your birthday, or given to the bride's groom, or when a newborn baby was born, that was the first thing that they should hold was be a silver coin. So have, you know, tuck them in there, but then also it doesn't have to be a sixpence, it just has to be one of your regular currency that looks silver. For us it's like 50 pence and 10 pence and whatever. And then, you know, paper money as well, putting through the middle ribbons that are, you know, gold, silver. Again, you want to fill the broom as much as you can on New Year's Eve. All them things that are associated with abundance and blessings and good luck and happiness, like things that you intend to sweep constantly into your home. So this is another one that I sort of created, which I call the New Year's broom. So this is the kind of the idea of, I don't know where my idea came from, but it's something that I developed over the years. It's hanging out a brushel. I call it a brushel or broom, to encourage prosperity. And I may like sort of ask the spirits of this night to touch the broom, and, you know, or a certain saint to, if they're passing by, to give its blessings. And essentially you hang them out on New Year's Eve, and then on New Year's Day, or when the clock strikes 12, you want to beat that brushel or broom all around your house, you know, around your doorways, your windows, beat it, you know, really, you know, give that prosperity, make sure it seeps in the walls and your doors and everything, so you're walking in constant success, and it comes from your home, where you go into work, return to work, that day is going to be prosperous for you. And that's what it all starts from your home. You're king of the castle, you know. So I use stuff like lemon balm. See, with this, it's all stuff that's sweet smelling, and to have a harmonious home throughout the year, and make sure that things don't go too much, arise in the new year and troublesome. So I use lemon balm stalks, nettle stalks for protection, lavender again, white heather, Scotch broom or golden broom. And yeah, I bound it with a yellow, orange, or golden thread to represent that solar power that which the sun is represent, of abundance. And it certainly does, because it brings, without the sun, we wouldn't be abundance in food and our crops that our good farmers tend to. So, what one thing you can do, and I certainly do, when you're after midnight and you're beating your New Year's broom or brushel around your house, is this old Welsh chant said on New Year's Eve, and it goes like this: Here comes the maiden with gold upon her toe. Open up the west gate and let the old year go. Here comes the maiden with gold upon her chin. Open up the west gate and let the new year in. Now, this has a symbolic meaning to it. So we all know that the path of the sun, rises in the west, rises in the east, sets in the west. So we've got that sympathia, that symbolic action of the sun disappearing and therefore the old year going with the west, and the sun arising and therefore coming with the new year. The chin and the toe. So within Scotland and most of Britain, you see in the witch trials that apparently, if the witch was to deny her Baptist, she would put one hand upon her head and one on her foot and deny and swore for all things between the two hands to the devil. And this is not something to do. This is something that was just picked up through throat memory and reused during the craze of the witch trials. But essentially, it's an old folk act that what between my hands I will be prosperous. In this case, the chin, the toe, all between them will be prosperous with gold. Gold upon the chin, gold upon the toe. So yeah, you can sing this while you're beating around your house and your the New Year's broom, brushel, I call it, but broom. Yeah. So it's a lovely Welsh chant, which really brings it says what it does on the tin. So we're going to talk about what this talk is named after. So it is first footing, the tradition of first footing. Now, this is only really common within the Celtic regions. So Welsh, Irish, Scotland, Cornwall, not really, hardly practiced within England from what I have found. And certainly still practiced today. And my gran would very much look forward to the guy in her grove that would bring her many things in a bag on the strike of midnight. So it's that again, it's that the thought of that visitor bringing in items, commodities that you will never go without, or you wish to, or your neighbor wish to not have you go without. You can be as poor as you can, maybe, and certainly life does throw some things at you, but at least that's that thought of, at least these are the things I wish not to go without if I were to go in hardship. And there's also, so for example, the traditional is bread for food, whiskey for drink, coal so that we'll always be warm, have good fire or wood, salt because but long ago, although we take advantage of it now, salt was almost like gold, was seen as gold, not as expensive as gold, but seen as gold. Salt was a cleanser. It allows you to salt your meat so it can last longer. It's a preservative, a massive preservative. But it was highly prized, you know, until the later half of the 19th century, where it became more available to the general folks, and we take advantage of that. But yeah, it was sold, and a silver sixpence, which I've or a silver coin, which you know, make sure that may you always have a coin in your purse, as my grand used to say. So you'll always have at least a little bit of money, always. So, and then there's like omen reading in regards to the first spotter, if they've done it off their own back, or they just happen to walk in on midnight to your house. And so a tall dark man is for a happy marriage, a red-headed man is for heated arguments, a golden hair woman is to live like a queen for the year. And there's I've just two examples, but there's loads of sort of omen reading of the person that's come through your door at or afterwards, the first person coming for your door at or after midnight. And there's a whole omen reading to that. There's loads. You can search it online. But yeah, here's a nice little picture, illustration from the 19th century of a Highlandman coming in with some whiskey, and then him being the first footer. So yeah, I don't know why the child's upset, but guess that we'll never know. So another thing, which is an adaptation I do of the first spotter, because not all of us nowadays have grand parties, or some of us live alone, whatnot. Some like me and my partner, we're hermits. We don't have many friends. The ones we do, we can count on our hands. So I came up with this that was inspired. Sorry about this. I'm gonna have to quickly charge my laptop. Will you get my sorry, my partner? Will you get my charge, please? Sorry, my partner will get it. So this was inspired by the gifts of the idea of the first footer, and then acquiring gifts and that you want for the new year. And I call this the pot of plenty. I didn't call it the cornucopia or the corn of plenty, because that's something that's associated with more harvest time, where it's filled up with first fruits of your labor. And again, that's another thing that's encouraged, that abundance that I've got from the fields this year may be the same for next year, and that's the cornucopia and the horn of plenty, or in Celtic sense, the cauldron of plenty, associate with the great Dagda within Celtic Irish mythology. So what I'm doing is basically I'm filling up in a pot. This is just my normal cooking pot. I thought, why not? Well, I'm a poet, I could do it. Things that, again, even if I was to go touch wood in hardship, that these are the things that I would least want to have, at least. And there's quite a combination of things. So I love lemonade. So I'm like, please, I'd love to have lemonade. I love, obviously butter and bread. You can always make something with butter and bread, and it's very filling. I've got a can here of dog food for Neve, my dog, a candle so that I'll always have light, electricity, warmth. I've got a spray. Now these ones, a spray paint can, is because last year when I did this, or shall I say this year? No, this year last year. I'm getting confused. Last year when I did this, I was opening my museum. And so I wanted to be always be able to have stuff, commodities that I for me to always improve the museum, and to always, add things. And so at the time, the spray can represented that the able to constantly refurbish, to add, to improve the museum. And it's certainly true because this in mid-January, sign for the 15th, we're closing for a week to extend to have a new exhibit in the diamond area and improve the tarot reading section and open up the space for more like sort of giftware. So it's certainly true. And scissors and a pen because of my other things that I like doing. I love doing arts and crafts. So at least like may I shall always have like accessories, well, not accessory, but things to do with arts and crafts to keep me sane. And then in there, I'll probably drop some coins and some nice smelling herbs and stuff, so that I'll always have some money at least. So it's that idea of, I mean, you can fit it whatever you want, and you can go out, you can go all out. And so what I do is I leave this probably about from 10 o'clock onwards by my front door. I certainly got a new door since then. So yeah. Um leaving my own door from probably 10 o'clock onwards. And then when midnight comes, I go out of my door with the pan, turn around and come back in. And that's the representation of what I want to bring into my life, and now what I always want to always have, if hardship touch wood were to occur. So this is another, I love this. I actually found out this quite recently. So it's called Dressing the Heron. It's a Dundonian tradition, which is called Dressing the Heron. And so essentially, these are done at New Year's, and heron fishes were dried out and cured and then dressed up in like little dresses and stuff like that and made to look really pretty. And they were bought at market stalls in Dundee and given to friends, and then people as good luck charms, and then people would hang them up in the house, like preferably around above the door or by the chimney and stuff, to have a bit of good luck for the year. So I like this. Yeah, you don't have to. You can get maybe a rubber one or something. But it's pretty safe. So I mean, we've got a Polish shop over the road to us, and they do some. My partner loves seasoned and cured like sort of fish. So if it's cured properly, and it's in a place where it's a bit warm, you're safe that it's not going to go rotten. It will probably just dry out even more. Again, I suppose they wouldn't have started this tradition if it was that so. But they're quite cute. They're quite fit. Cute and stuff. Little heron heads popping out of it, and dressed up in like all their little dresses. So yeah, that's a traditional sort of Dundonian sort of good luck charm for New Year. So we're going to the last one. So this is a tradition that is if I've led to believe, started from Edinburgh actually, called Looney Duking or the Looney Duk, where people on New Year's Day they rush out into the Firth or the Forth Sea, near the sort of South Queensferry village, or anywhere around the sort of bridges, and it's cold water, and it's to to do to symbolically represent that if any hardship then they may defeat, meet for the new year, they will overcome it, because going into that cold water at this time of year is a challenge, and definitely something of yes, have a defeat, something to defeat. But also the locals joke and say it's really good to go over for if you've got a New Year's hangover. It really helps you with that. Um, it always reminds me as well. So when I went to the Appleby Horse Fair, the the gathering for travelers, gypsies, and tinkers, that when before they raced the horses, they drove the horses through the river to bless the horse for good luck. So it kind of reminds me a bit like that when I see it, which is a nice little tradition. And again, you can just wash away. I haven't yet done it. I go admit. I will say I will do it one day. Uh, but it's cold. It's very cold this time of year. So yeah, so that comes to the sort of end of my talk in regards to New Year traditions, old and new. And like I previously said at the beginning, um, in folk magic in general, it's all about securing your look, especially within Scotland, and they emphasize this in the Gaeltacht areas, the Gaelic speaking areas of Scotland. It's to secure your looks, that your luck will never run out or you'll never have bad luck in return, but also is to ensure that we also have abundance and new things, and that we strive to have better goals for the year that we want to achieve. So really take advantage of this time and make wishes, do some candle magic, like we do on our birthday. We make a wish, we blow it out. Like, this is a magical time, like our birthday is a liminal time, it's a magical time. It's that in betwixtness, especially at that strike of midnight. If you want to make that wish, do it. And I assure you all these things will come true in due course, if you really will it to be. But take advantage and be creative in what you want for the new year, and using symbolic action on New Year's Eve, writing things, drawing things, having pictures of things that you want for the new year as a focal point, as a which is something I came along with, image boards or manifestation boards, putting things on a board that you want for the new year, imagery. I also do little things as well, like so I like to burn the old broom, my old calendars that I hang up, things that are these little things that are representative of getting rid of the old year and saying goodbye of the sorrows, and like sort of almost get yourself into a mourning, say, mourning the loss of that new year and the sorrow, some of the sorrows that came with it. So I burn the old broom, have a wee fire, burn my old calendars, my old diaries, because I've got some new ones by then. Symbolic actions of saying goodbye to the old year and all the sorrows that we may have met, and hardships that we may have met that year. But yeah, so that's coming. I come to the end of this talk, and then I'll allow sort of, if everyone's got any questions, they can certainly ask. Let me just, I'm not very good at technology at times. So I want to stop sharing so I can see what any kind of questions on the chat. Here we go. Stop share. Brilliant. Okay. Brilliant. Yeah. So, does anyone have any sort of questions in regards to what I've talked about, or even just to share certain traditions that you do for New Year's? You can either speak or chat in the chat box. But yeah. But in general, I hope you've really enjoyed it and got some out of it.
I enjoyed it, Ash. My name's Jenny. I've got 3 questions, 2 about this and 1 about something else.
Yeah,
If
go
that's okay.
ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. With the powdered sprinkle on the floor
Hmm.
or the Hoover, how
Yep.
long do you advise leaving the mixture on the floor before you Hoover?
I would say leave it to, I'd say 20 minutes minimum, but you really want to keep it to about half an hour on the floor and, go walk on it and let it just seep into your carpet because it's really, not only have they got magical qualities to it, but they are really nice smelling herbals.
Perfect. Your New Year's broom. I think I did a question for a quiz. I think about this it was in Ireland, I think that they did it for my question. Is
Mhm.
it just outside that you're bashing the broom about, or is it inside as well?
So what I do is I leave the broom out on outside on New Year's Eve,
Mm-hmm.
and then on New Year's Day, I'll bring it in and I'll whack it all about inside. So it's had the blessings of the spirits of the new year that's passed by to bless it, and you're
Yeah.
bringing it, and you're sort of, yeah, you're blessing it inside your home then.
Oh, it's grand. So you bash it about inside the home.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
crazy with it.
Oh
Like,
yeah, that's no problem. So I think that was my two questions. And are you open on Tuesday at the museum
yeah,
or
we're open
closed?
Tuesday, so we're not open Monday, but we are
Yeah.
open normal time
So
Tuesday, 10
wave
till
at you.
6.
My daughter, my
Yeah, normal
daughter,
hours on Tuesday, 10 till 6.
that's fabulous. My daughter, her husband, my son, who's over from America for the first time in 5 years, and his wife are
Uh-huh.
coming to Edinburgh on Tuesday. So I've told them
Oh,
all about you.
grand. Well, both
And
me and my partner will be working on Tuesday there.
well,
So,
that's fabulous. See, just off the Royal Mile, is that right? Just into
yeah, so when
Coburn?
it's not towards the Castle End or St. Giles, it's towards sort of the Radisson Hotel sort of thing. So it's opposite the Museum of Childhood, opposite there, and it's the close between the wee gift shop and the pharmacy.
Okay, so we're
Are
more
you-
Holyrood Palace or
Yeah,
and more that in.
going towards Holyrood Palace Way, but we're right at the top, sort of near just before the Storytelling Centre.
Sure.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
you'll see that it's called the wee gift shop, and then there's the
Mhm.
pharmacy, and it's that close there. But you'll see our A board, no doubt.
Yeah, I've been. I can't come myself because I'm
Right.
not physically able, but I'm sending everybody that I can. So,
Oh, thank you. And I'm so
all
sorry.
right, it's all right. That's all
So,
right. Thank you very much for the talk. That's
no,
very
it's
interesting.
been a pleasure. Thank you.
All right.
So yeah, you've got not a question Blackburn, not a question, but I hope you consider doing these talks regular. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I am actually. Now things are not so hectic at the museum because things have slowed down, tourist section, as usually does around winter time. I'm looking to do more talks. One I'm sort of probably going to be doing a sort of month course once a week for a month on traditional Scottish spellcraft. So that's one. So keep your eyes open for that. That's probably going to be my next one. So, good. Does anyone else have any questions or anything like that, or to want to share?
So I just want to say thank you very much. I'm learning about Scotland. I come from South Africa originally, and I've been working with shamans in South Africa,
Oh
and coming
wow!
to Scotland, of course, the African shamanic journey doesn't fit here, and I haven't got. This is honestly the first time I've come across first footing. I've heard about it, I've kind of read about it, I've done a little bit of research, but just to be able to connect and say, okay, so that's where it comes from, and the sort of the ancient history and everything. So very, very interesting. And when I come into Edinburgh, I will come and visit you.
Oh, definitely. You're most welcome. And yeah, like so it's first put in, it's a weird one. So it went for a period where it sort of started to die out in and it's mostly known within the Celtic regions of like Ireland, Scotland, Isle of Man. It's not really practiced as much in England and
Right.
other parts of Britain. And yeah, so it died for a minute, for a good while, and now it's took a kind of resurgence, and people are starting to do it again now in
Don't
Scotland.
you think it's ancestral fear that there was so much witch burning that happened here? It's one of the largest places on the planet that went
Yes.
through that. And so, from an ancestral point of view, that must be sitting very, very deeply in the souls of Scottish people, and that's tough. I mean, it really is. I'm near North Berwick, and so the East
I
Lothian.
love North Berwick. Me and my partner and Neve, my dog, loves
Oh,
North
great.
Berwick.
Yeah, yeah. So, but what I'm saying is that there is an energy. Uh,
Mhm.
you're aware of the fact that there's been a lot of pain here from
Yes.
from any form of magic, witchcraft, anything like that. It's sort of like, oh, you know, don't let us go there.
Yeah, and it's especially more so when Scotland became more Protestant under John Knox. Um, he really wanted people to stop doing these traditions and to stop having fun. But
Stop
mostly
being who they were.
he wanted people to stop doing these traditions because he see them as heathen and
Yeah.
unchristian, like ungodly. And it's not the thing to do. It's if it's not in the Bible, you shouldn't be doing it, basically, according to John Knox. And you also shouldn't be having any fun, no
No,
dancing, nothing. Just
no
your service
dancing.
to
No,
God.
no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Heaven forbid that you should actually take off your clothes near a fire and have fun.
Yeah. But you know what? People still did it, but just,
I'm sure they
it was very under the carpet and
can't. Yeah, you can't
push
stop a good
to
person when they
the
know what they're
first
doing.
foot in and have a wee drink and celebration for the new year.
Exactly.
Off my now.
Well,
So,
thank you so much.
oh, thank you. It's been
I
a
look
pleasure.
forward to, as I say, I'll come into Edinburgh sometime and
Yeah, please do. Please do. Yeah, we're open every day, set for 10 till 6, except for Mondays, we're 12 till 6.
right. Good. All right. Thank you.
No, neighbor.
Bye now.
Right.
Hi, me again, Jenny again.
No,
Am I
yeah.
right in saying that John Knox banned Christmas and that's why the Scottish people made so much of Hogmanay?
Yeah, so I mean, in it mostly the Battler. Well, yeah, John Knox was sort of very similar to way Cromwell, Oliver Cromwell was, and really wanted to uh not so much ban Christmas, but rid these traditions that were associated that he said were not not associated, because what we see today of the Christmas tree and wreath is an adaptation from Germany through Queen Victoria and Albert. But before uh, British sort of like Christmas traditions was a thing called the 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 Lord of Misrule. So people
And the
would
wassail.
essentially like sort of Halloween. People would get
Mm.
dressed up, go around the houses.
The
Uh,
wassailing, is it wassailing, I think? Something like
yes,
that?
the wassailing is done in sort of January as a sort of putting toast and ale on the orchards to encourage growth for the new year. But essentially, like Christmas traditions, folk traditions was like a bit like Halloween, but very much uh they would go around, they get dressed up, poorer folks would go dressed up and they would go around richer people's houses and sort of put them at ransom and and turn things right upside down. And that's why you would have like a leader of the bands called the Lord of Misrule, And so it was like kind of like, give me something nice or we're gonna completely turn your place upside down. And so that was Christmas traditions before the introduction of the Christmas tree and the wreath. But obviously we brought in greenery like the holly and the ivy.
Like carol singing now, isn't it? Then I suppose.
Yeah.
Remember when they go around the door and you have to give them mince pies and that, or they won't. Yeah, I guess. Okay,
Yeah,
that works.
or nuts. Traditionally, it
Or
was
not.
roasted nuts
Yeah,
or dried fruit, if
that's
you can
wonderful.
afford it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, well, grand. Well, if and no one else got any questions, it's been a pleasure to have you here, and to allow me to blather on. And I hope you've all got something sort of inspired you to sort of a focus and to weave some magic for the new year and make it a bloody good one. But yeah, thank you very much. Over now. Ilu Blennefer that's Gaelic for I hope you have a good new year. So yeah, cheery. Over now, and blessings to you all, and have a good new year.